and our motorists, and any kind of states that are like voted down that are kind of trending towards that?
Well, I've done, as a consultant, as a paid consultant, I've done value engineering in 9 U.S. states, formal value engineering projects, and I'm always, it seems like, either in charge of the bridge part or the highway safety part. And when you're talking about value engineering, you are talking about innovative ways to save cost. It's not cost cutting, because cost cutting is easy, just cancel the project, you've saved a lot of cost. But so value engineering is not cost cutting, but ultimately you come down to trying to save money by getting a function out of something. So you ask a question about states, and my experience also with the U.S. DOT, Federal Highway Administration, and the Office of Safety, that all the states have a different philosophy. There are 2 states that have such similar philosophy as we think we were cloned, and that would be Texas and the Florida DOT. The other states have their own philosophies that come through their own experiences. When it comes to safety, if I were to hallmark or tick away some of the states that I think really look at this the strongest, the philosophy in Pennsylvania is very, very much towards their road safety component. So, Texas, Florida, Pennsylvania, they're kind of obvious ones. California is much the same way, but they have to balance all this cost of road safety, against their budgets and against mobility and against, sustainability, that is environmental stuff. And it's always just a balance of how you're doing stuff. From the standpoint of an owner, safety to a certain degree doesn't have cost. For example, I've put together a presentation that I do on value of a statistical life, that is VSL. I'm not going to get into VSL here, but I've lectured to other countries and to in the U.S. on value of a statistical life. And it helps get the owner's mind wrapped around what it is that you're doing when you're doing safety. You're not doing safety. There's actually a financial component to what safety does for you. So real briefly, VSL, value of a statistical life, assesses or puts a value on having one less fatality happen in your state or city or county or the U.S. And so you see that as a value of a statistical life for a single human. And the U.S. has that number published. It comes from the U.S. DOT, Federal Highway Administration Office of Safety, and it does give this value, which is like, I can't even remember now, but it goes up all the time, 6.2 million, and it usually is 80 times the domestic gross national product. So you'll see VSL assigned to India, as you'd expect. It'd be much lower than it is at the U.S., but it does give me a number that I can put out there in the country I'm in. I get it from the World Bank, and I'm able to give this nationally to get people to prioritize safety, not just from the standpoint of what it costs, but also from the standpoint of what it saves.
Yeah. So you mentioned that the Federal Highway Administration has kind of published this number. So a lot of these states are geared towards, you said Pennsylvania, Texas, Florida, California are really thinking about road safety and highway safety. Oh, can you repeat that?
We had a break in communication. Can you repeat that last question?
Sure. Yeah, sure thing. So you mentioned that states like Pennsylvania, Texas, Florida, and California are really thinking about this road safety stuff. And you mentioned that the Federal Highway Administration has published that number for the VSL, you said?
Yeah, you can just Google value of a statistical life, FHWA. In fact, I'm at my computer. I'll just Google it now. And you'll find that is obviously public information. It's updated every year.
Right.
Or if it's not every year, it's every 2 years. Go ahead.
Yeah, what's the best, for states that are, that are really thinking about safety? VSL is a good way to kind of put a financial component around safety. For a product like a movable barrier, right? When it's like an expensive product, maybe for a larger project, and what do you think the key value there is? What do you think the key way to influence DOTs or to adopt something like this?
Um,